This is the good, the bad, and the classic here on Classic TV. So using top film review sites, we've taken the very best and worst films of Netflix being added this month, and we've broken them down so far they can't even walk. Before Midnight is supposedly the best film added to Netflix this month, as reviewed by Classic writer Samantha, and 88 Minutes is supposedly the worst film added to Netflix this month, as reviewed by Classic member Rushma. This is the good, the bad, and the classic. I'm gonna be frank with you. Before Midnight, one of the most critically acclaimed films added to Netflix is, well, that's just it. It just is. I've got a hankering for an intense drama, yet Before Midnight doesn't deliver. The film follows a lovable couple on their vacation, Jesse, the famous one, and Celine. So Jesse also has a son named Hank. Yes, Hank. Who names their son Hank? One of the film's strongest points is how it plays with dynamics and power of love. Our Classic reviewer, Samantha, put it, the audience is drawn to finding a positive outcome for the characters. Love conquers all. Yet, most other areas it seems to fall flat. Almost as if according to our sources, Before Midnight is the third film in the Before trilogy, following Before Sunrise and Before Sunset. Looking at the third installment alone leaves the viewer feeling uninformed about Jesse and Celine and his kids, but placed in the context of the series wrap-up, it does the trilogy justice. If you're hoping to sit down for a quick review, Before Midnight won't do it. Graded as a standalone film, it gets a solid before my afternoon nap. Following the supposed best film added to Netflix this month, 88 Minutes is on the complete opposite side of the spectrum. It's the worst film being added to Netflix this month. It actually scored a 5% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. John Avnet's 88 Minutes feels like just another one of those thousands of movies we see from Hollywood that are psychological thrillers. Despite a relatively interesting plot, our reviewer Rishma points out, with so much going on, the audience really has to pay attention to catch everything. While we can't ignore the clear intention to keep this movie a fast-paced film, as he does have 88 minutes left to live, it doesn't accomplish that at all. Look at the small sample of the film.
Yeah.
You have 88 minutes to live.
Who's this?
Tick-tock.
Who the hell is this? Shelley, I received a threatening phone call.
Jack, you better turn on MSNBC.
I find it hard to believe that Dr. Jack Graham can be out there, psycho-babbling innocent people into the death chamber.
They are claiming that these murders prove that the real killers have never been brought to justice.
Dr. Graham! Is it possible Forrester's innocent?
No.
No DNA, no murder weapon.
How does it feel to know you won't live through another night? 37 minutes.
How do I know that you haven't gone completely over the edge?
He's got a gun!
Well,
what did I do, Frank? Did I blow up my car? Oh! Did I fire bullets at myself?
It's genius, isn't it?
You convinced the jury Forrester was guilty. How do I know you didn't kill those women, too?
Take a good look.
This gets a solid, why is this film 110 minutes? I stopped at 88. The train of interesting concepts, yet forgettable execution, continues with this month's editor pick, What Happened to Monday, reviewed by Darren. Each month, one of our writers will take a hopeful film added to Netflix this month, since the company's constantly expanding its library of original films, this time with director Tommy Wirkola and actors Noomi Rapace and Marwan Kenzari. The director touches upon themes of family, identity, and how everyone wants to shape their own lives, yet these ideas are never quite developed. Most films struggle with 3 or 4 protagonists, and with 7, it's nearly impossible to delve into them. Sure, they're identical on the outside, but on the inside they're all archetypes, fitting one mold and only that mold. The film still has one major plus: well-paced, intense, and thrilling action sequences.
What are you waiting for? Go get her!
What happens to one of you happens to you all.
That coupled with relatively good acting.
Where am I going?
Run. The trash will soften the impact.
It's empty!
Sorry.
Makes it an enjoyable film, but only on the surface. Because if you look any deeper, it leads to being a thriller that's just as forgettable as the ones it tried to distinguish itself from. It gets a solid, thank God it's Monday. So let's recap. This month's Netflix Good, Bad, and the Classic is a story of films that tried a little too hard to distinguish themselves. 88 Minutes and What Happened to Monday are simply on-the-surface level enjoyment films, and while Before Midnight, when it stands alone, is a bit meaningless, it has a really satisfying conclusion if you've got 7 or so hours to kill. So this was November's The Good, the Bad, and the Classic here on Classic TV.